It's been a while since we've done one of these, but welcome back to another race day vlog. Today we're headed up to Belterra to go watch Mikasa run 6 furlongs on the dirt in an allowance optional claiming. It's been a while since you've seen us. I think it's been about 8 or 9 weeks-ish, and the reason why is because they tried to enter her into, I think, 2 different races at Kingland, going short on the turf, right? So, like, sprinting on the turf, because in theory, she's really been loving turfway, right? And in theory, horses that enjoy the synthetic typically like the turf. And so that was the plan. And you're probably like, she's ran on the turf before, though, hasn't she? She has. That was over at Belterra. We took her a mile on the turf, and it was very clear that she did not have a good experience. She just didn't like it. She had a hard time grabbing it. That being said, Belterra's turf course, their grass course, is different to Kingland's. And Kingland's is different from Belterra, and it's different from India. Like, they're all different. Like, depending where you go, everything's a little bit different. And also, it was the first time we sent her going a mile, so maybe it would have been better to drop her back to a shorter distance. Anyway, regardless. Try to take her to Kingland on the turf. Those 2 races ended up not going. And so we tried to find a race over at Indiana. We also didn't find anything over there. And obviously you can't keep working a horse. They do actually have to run. It's not good for them to just keep working and not actually doing their job. And so they were like, well, there is an allowance over at Belterra. Why don't we just go over there? So that is what we are doing. I was a little surprised. I don't know why I was surprised, but I definitely was a little surprised when the thing came out the other day and we were the favorite. I was like, what? And then they were like, well, yeah, you're going to be the favorite because you've won the last 2 races. And not only that, you're actually 3 for 4 of your last races. And you've won at Belterra already, going at this distance at a higher level, at a lower level. No, it was made special weight. I don't remember what the price was for the main special weight, but it was made anyway. So, like, I don't know why you're surprised. And I think it was just because I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I was surprised that we were the favorite. Typically, listen, when I'm 20 to 1 or like 30 to 1, I do good. But when I'm the favorite, I don't do good. And so I'm just like, take the favorite spot away from me, please. That being said, I kind of quickly glanced at the field. There's this moth fluttering around me. I kind of quickly glanced at it. We are the 3. I do think the 4 and the 1 have some potential. The 4 is coming off of a win at Turfway. Granted, she ran, I think, 5 weeks ago. We obviously are coming off of a little bit of freshening, so it's been about 8 weeks. And then there was also a horse that ran at Kingland and was 3rd. And Kingland is tough. Like, I don't, like, typically, especially the first half of the meet, it is tough because everyone and your mother bring the best of the best that they got. And, like, you can have an allowance and it will basically be a stake race because just everyone shows up with all their horses. That being said, towards the end of the meet, it's kind of a little bit easier for the little guys to kind of step up because all the big guys start scurrying off thinking about derby stuff and all that stuff. Anyway, regardless, so that was anytime you have a horse coming from Kingland over to Belterra, that's kind of something to keep an eye on because it's technically a little bit of a drop for them, so the competition's easier, even if it's running the same amount or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that is the current vibe. I'm optimistic that we can hit the top 3. It is gonna be rainy / muddy. Has she run in the mud before? I don't think so. So that will be new if that's the case. It's been raining on and off over the past couple days. I know it's really sloppy up at Churchill, or at least it was yesterday, and it's been raining here. So I'm assuming we're like an hour away. So I'm assuming it might be raining there too. Anyway, I am hoping to go because obviously I haven't been able to go to her races the last couple times. Now, granted, every time I don't go to her races, she wins. And when I do go, she doesn't win. So maybe I shouldn't go. But I am kind of hoping to go. But I'm slightly wondering if this mare is not going to let me. Because it's like 6 something, right? And the race is at 5 p.m. So we got a while. Except for this mare has started being a little bit uncomfortable. And you're probably like, that's still plenty of time. Yeah, it's plenty of time, except for she's sneaky. And she likes to plan things. And so I just know the moment we leave to head to the racetrack, we're going to get a phone call. And they're going to be like, hey, currently staring at it. Anyway, so I'm optimistic we're probably going to be able to go, but also we might not. But in all honesty, maybe she doesn't want us there anyway. You know, it's fine. Anyway, I guess we're going to go see what ends up happening and see how Belterra handled all that flooding. Belterra got flooded when all that storm came through. Honestly, I was really hoping for us not to run at Belterra. I wanted to run at Indiana because it's Belterra's opening weekend, and I was just like, I would rather like wait 2 weeks before we run at Belterra. I'd rather run at Indiana, just so that make sure Belterra has their shit together after all that flooding. But Indiana didn't have anything, and they were like, she needs to run. She is kicking down doors, so it is what it is. But we're not going to run at Churchill. That's the thing. So actually, we have a horse that we like fold out and raised and all that stuff that's running at Churchill today as well on the undercard. So it's in the very first race. Let me tell you, trying to figure out whether, like, it's basically, if you have a horse running Derby Day or Oaks Day that is not in a stake race, it is so difficult to freaking get in there and do all this stuff. Because, like, obviously you don't want to pay a stupid amount of money to watch your horse run in either a claiming or a maiden special weight, right? Like, you just, like, I'm not paying Derby ticket money to do that. So, and then, like, they're supposed to help, like, if you're an owner and you have a horse running, you're supposed to, anyway, but where it's Derby and there's so many extra people, it's a hassle. And so we had talked about it because we have a horse that we raised that's running in the undercard, and we were like, we're not going, we're not dealing with it, it's too many people, too much stuff. And then Mikasa ended up drawing in, and I was like, fine, we'll go to Belterra, I guess. It doesn't matter. It's still gonna be busy up there anyway because Belterra always has a thing Derby Day, where everyone gets together and watches the Derby up there. It's been a whole thing. I have a lot of horses running today in general. I have Mikasa's running. One of my mares, her nephew, is running for his first time, so I'm kind of excited to see what he's gonna do. He's in a really tough race too. And then obviously we got the other kid at Churchill. And I think I have someone over in Canada too. I keep track of it, like, even obviously, you know, I only have a certain amount of horses that are like mine, but obviously I raise a lot of other people's horses, and so I keep track of like every single one of them. They're all in my stable mail, and so I always know when everyone's running. And listen, they might be owned by someone else, but they are my kids because I raised them. That is the rules. I've rambled for too long. I'm so sorry. Let's go watch her run and see how it goes and talk about it.
Number 9, Slow No Mo being led back in. Daughter of Uncle Mo. They're at the post, and they're off. For the lead from the outside, Fact Is I'm Flashy, answered immediately by Sparadime down on the inside. Very wealthy. They're 3 across the track, a half lane back. Lady Hamilton rounds out the top 4 as they make their way down the backside up the mighty Ohio. Along the inside is Sense of Pearl. To the outside, Tough as Nails. Down on the inside, we got Devil of Paradise. Devil of Paradise just trying to work off the rail, and trailing the field is Slow No Mo. Into the far turn, opening quarter of 24. With the lead is Very Wealthy. John McKee showing the way. In between runners is Fact Is I'm Flashy. Hung out 3 wide and coming in a hurry. Here comes Sparadime. And Sparadime just poked ahead in front. Devil of Paradise fanned out 4 wide and coming in a hurry. Also right along with Lady Hamilton as they reach the top of the stretch. And with the lead, that is going to be right now punching in between runners. That is Devil of Paradise. Devil of Paradise quickly opened up by 3. Oscar Vial went right to the front, give a few left-handed, and opens now up by 5. It's Devil of Paradise. Oscar Villarreal just playing from here. It's all Devil of Paradise in the 8th and final. Running second, Very Wealthy. Running third, Sense of Pearl.
You've already watched it, so let's talk about it. She is the 3 horse, and she's not going to get a great break. She's going to break kind of slow, and actually, if you look at the head on, she kind of got bounced around a bit at the gate. Normally, she's up toward the front, and this time she was way in the back. When you're going shorter distances, that's not ideal unless you're typically a closer. It typically doesn't matter as much if you're going a longer distance, but obviously, shorter distance, different story. Anyway, at this point, you can kind of see she's starting to pick up a little bit. She already passed 1 horse. She's very quickly starting to pick off the second and the third. And actually, at this point, I was kind of wondering, I was like, I wonder if he moved a little prematurely here. Obviously, we had a bad start, and, this was not the original plan. But she made this look so easy. Legitimately, it was right about here. I actually lost track of her, and it genuinely felt like she teleported. Because right here, now she's in the lead. And, the announcer totally missed it. It genuinely felt like she just teleported. He did a great job just making her a nice, easy, clean trip, and he just lets her run for fun from here on out. I mean, obviously, the track is absolutely soaking wet, and she just pulls away like it was absolutely nothing. So, despite the bad start, she made this just look super easy and just made it look like a little paid workout. So, we ended up not going for a variety of reasons. Number one, this mare, I don't know what she's doing. She's doing whatever she's doing. It was disgustingly rainy and just disgusting and soaking wet. We had clients in town for the Oaks and the Derby, and so one of them was like, "Can I come see my kids?" And we were like, "Sure." So they came and saw their kids. I also forgot it was my brother's birthday. Sister of the Year award. It's fine. It's whatever. It was also his birthday. And then there was something else that happened, and I forgot about it. Regardless, we had a lot of stuff going on. And then we also have kind of been joking. I have the text messages and everything. I was kind of like, I feel like at this point, she's won every single time we're not there. I'm afraid to go now because we're gonna jinx it or break it. It's just like, obviously she's on a roll because she's been doing great, and it was during foaling season, so we couldn't be there because it was foaling season. But it's like now it's still foaling season, but now I'm like, I don't want to jinx it. We're on a roll, and I'm afraid if I go in person, we're gonna jinx it now. Anyway, quick little recap. I left in that part with the gate because I wanted to talk about it a little bit and just talk about what kind of happens in those situations and things of that nature. So obviously the 2 horses on the outside prematurely broke the gate early. One of them, the 8 horse, the guy at the gate didn't let go, and so the horse didn't end up going anywhere. And the 9 horse did get loose. However, the jockey was still on him, and there was an outrider right there, and so they were very easy to, guide back to the gate. They didn't end up taking off, getting loose, or anything of that nature. Anytime something like that happens, there is a vet that is at that gate. And so the vet will immediately be there. He will look over everyone, make sure that no one has any scrapes, bumps, blood, nothing of that nature, that they seem okay. They'll jog them to make sure that they seem okay as well. Obviously, there is a little bit of adrenaline going on in a situation like this, so the vets are taking all that into consideration when they're watching them. So it can be any tiniest little hint, or if they thought that horse really hit the side of the gate or something, then, or if the horse sits down or anything of that nature, like scratch. So they can scratch him at the gate when something like that happens. But if the horse is fine and everything seems fine and dandy, they will go ahead and let the horse run. But what was it? Was it Friday? Not Friday. It was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. On Thursday, it actually happened to a client of ours, where his horse was sitting in the gate. You know, they were taking a little too long to load, and I guess she got impatient and she kind of sat back. Like, she kind of tried to pop up, and she ended up sitting back. And when she did that, she kind of scraped the side of her butt, and so they obviously, you know, backed her out, saw that she scraped herself, and so they scratched her and they had to send her back. And anytime that happens, they're going to unload everybody, take the number off, make sure she has plenty of time to get back to the barn safely, and they're going to reload everybody and then let the race go. So, like, obviously there's two instances. We had the instance on Thursday where there was a horse that scratched, and then instance today where everybody was fine, so they got to reload. Obviously, when anything like that happens, it can also be a little bit of a mental game for both horses involved, because obviously the horses that prematurely broke the gate, they were ready to go, and now they got to do it again. But it's also a bit of a mental game for the other horses, because they've been waiting, and then all of a sudden the horse next to them broke, but they didn't go. Now we got to wait a little bit longer, and like, I cut off there's a fly. Let me tell you, the bugs started coming out 2 weeks ago. They've come back with a vengeance. The June bugs are insane this year. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought. Oh my Jesus. This is what happens when things fly in my face. Anyway, so obviously I cut out a good chunk of the time, because obviously the vet looked at the horses and, you know, all that stuff. So the horses were in the gate for a bit longer than they normally are, or that they're supposed to, but obviously that's part of why they do practice stuff like this in the morning, by letting the horses just go into the gate, sit there for a while, and then backing them out or letting them break, depending on what the plan is for the day. And so when she broke, she did not have a good break. She broke a little bit slow, and honestly, from the head on, she kind of took like a step to the right, and when she did that, she kind of got hit and then sandwiched and cut off. And so all of that, you know, resulted into having a bad break. And when you're going that short of a distance, the break can really make or break you. But I had thought that I was kind of like, as soon as I saw the break, I was like, oh, whoops. And so, but the jockey did a really good job. I don't think he's ever ridden for us before. Maybe he had. I've lost track, man. But he did a really good job. I kind of originally was like, maybe he's moving a little prematurely, but you could tell he just felt really confident. He's like, I got plenty of horse. Don't worry about it. Because he gave her such, like, despite the bad break, gave her such a clean trip. He just weaved her in and out. It genuinely felt like she teleported from last to first. Like, it was just, like, so clean and easy. He did a great job keeping her out of trouble, and she just pulled away. So easy. So nice. So, as of right now, for 2025, she's currently undefeated. She is 3 for 3. And then, counting back from her first win, she's actually 4 for 5 from the last couple races. And honestly, the reason she lost the Keeneland race, we all know why she threw the clunker. She just had a bad reaction to the meds, and that was a whole thing. So yeah, she's been on a roll, that is for sure. Actually, as of right now, she officially became like our winningest horse for like our tiny program, because we, like, me and my family, obviously we've always had horses. The race horse stuff, like actually purposely keeping certain horses for racing, was a little bit new, purely because I think we had it in our mind once upon a time that it was just so expensive, because it is expensive, and we were like, we can't afford to go to do this and this and this. And so we kind of started like one at a time. And in reality for us, because we don't, like, you know, we don't have a ton of horses and all that stuff, if they win a race a year, they typically pay a good chunk of their training bill. So, like, you know, it's that's kind of all we ask for, really. But as of right, she officially passed what's his head, She officially passed my eventer, or my hopeful eventer, in how many wins. So I think there's only 2 other horses, however, right now, that still have her beat in earnings. So they might not have won as many times as she has, but they have more earnings. But she's obviously still kicking. So obviously we're really proud of her. She's done, she had that light bulb moment and everything just seems to have fallen into place for her, and she's just been doing phenomenally, which is all we can ask. She's definitely she's carrying the team right now, like full, like I ain't even lying, she's carrying the team 100% right now. So yeah, more than likely we will see her in another allowance, either at Belterra or at Indiana, I'm assuming. Oh, Churchill is still running. Churchill is also, I guess, an option, because it will be Churchill for another month-ish, and then Ellis, maybe? I lose track sometimes. But yeah, so that is kind of, well, like 4 to 6, 8 weeks. Like, you know, they've been really good. She's not something that you have to run all the freaking time. I used to have a gelding that he was like clockwork. You would race him, and then you would have to bring him back within 2 weeks. And I know that sounds dramatic, but he would legitimately be breaking down doors. Like, the amount of times he broke boards because he would kick them, or he would just escape or be like naughty on the track. So you would race him, you would have to race him back within about 2 weeks, and then you could give him a 4 to 6 week break. But he just, for whatever reason, he had to have that little sweet spot to come back. She doesn't get stupid or anything. She's good if you give her the 4, 6, 8 weeks. So that is pretty much the vibe. She came out of the race fine, great. She looked awesome. And I guess we will see her back in 4, 6, 8 weeks. I know we're probably still attempting to run her short again on the turf, but obviously the dirt is still definitely an option. And now we also know that the mud is not going to be a problem for her as well. So if it rains on a day we're supposed to be running on the turf, we know that she's not going to care about running in the mud. Some horses do. I have, speaking of my eventer, the irony of this horse hated the mud. Hated. Anytime it would rain, we automatically would just scratch him from the race, because he would not run worth a lick. He would be dead last. He'd take one step on that mud and he's like, no thank you, it's not for me, I ain't doing it. That being said, this mother hover, the amount of times I see him, he digs holes next to the waterer and lets it fill up with water when it rains so he can just lay in it. I'm like, it's the same thing, man. It's the same, and yet, whatever. It's fine. It's whatever. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. I think this is the result of when I work night shift and I don't see enough people, is I start to ramble. Because I have no one else to talk to besides the dogs and the horses, and it's, even then, it's still just a one-sided conversation half the time, because yeah, sure, they respond, but it's also me making the voices for them responding. Anyway, I'm super proud of her. Like, she's just done so well recently, and I can't complain. Listen, I'm being realistic about it. I never expect them to win every single race, okay? I am like, if they win 1 or 2 races a year, that's awesome. The fact that she is now at number 3 is just super awesome. And like, I just, we're proud of her. Anyway, I guess we will see you all back with the next time she races, because I have a feeling, I have a kiddo that I have sent to the track, a baby. He's not gonna be ready for the summer, I don't think. I think he's definitely more of a fall, winter type candidate. We went and saw him the other day, and he kind of hit a growth spurt, and we were talking about him, and they're like, we like him. He's definitely not something we're in a rush, but he's doing all the right things, and right now it's just kind of experience learning stuff for him. So I think it'll be a while until we see him. So it's just Mikasa running right now. I don't have anyone else to show you all any fun stuff. That being said, I know I talked about it with the foaling stuff, but I ramble on the foaling stuff too. Not like I'm not rambling now, but foaling season is obviously almost done, and so I was trying to figure out like the best way to do it, because I felt like last year I didn't do a great job. Like I did all the basics for sale prep, and I had talked myself out of doing weekly updates because I was like, it's kind of boring just watching you groom a horse every single week. And so I feel like I'm gonna change it up a little bit, because I am hoping if I don't break any more bones this year. I broke my arm last year. I've started legging up some of my show horse hopefuls, and so maybe this is finally the year I get back in the show ring. And then I'm hoping to keep doing the weekly vlogs like I've been doing with foal watching, but do it more with sales, farm stuff, and then hopeful OTTB stuff. Cool, awesome, phenomenal. Anyway, I've rambled enough for you all. It's been fun. I'm super excited for her. I'm super proud of her. I'm just so tickled. Anyway, I guess we will see you all next time.